All right, let's dive into the mind of one of Wall Street's most fascinating and maybe controversial figures, Cathie Wood. We're going to break down her blueprint for the next decade, what she's betting on, why, and the absolutely huge predictions she's making. Let's get right into it.
And look, she is not playing it safe. I mean, check out this quote: a tenfold increase on her investments in the next 5 to 10 years. That's a wild claim. It's the kind of thing that makes people either call you a genius or, well, something else. So the big question is, right, how seriously can we even take a prediction like that?
Well, for one thing, she's not just some random person shouting on the internet. Her firm, ARK Invest, is managing around $30 billion. That's billion with a B. So when someone with that much skin in the game makes a call that huge, you kind of have to stop and at least try to understand what they're seeing that maybe the rest of us aren't.
So let's get into that mindset. What gives someone the confidence, the sheer conviction to predict that kind of insane growth? It all boils down to a single, powerful core philosophy.
And that idea is AI. Yep, for Cathie Wood, artificial intelligence isn't just a thing, it's the thing. She calls it the biggest disruption in history. Her entire strategy, the whole shebang, is about getting in on these massive technological shifts before they're on the front page of every newspaper. It's about seeing the future first and betting big on it.
Okay, so how does she actually find these big opportunities? It's not just a gut feeling. Her firm, ARK, has a very specific framework they use to hunt for these world-changing companies, and it's all built around one core idea.
And this is it. This is the key to everything. They're not just looking for companies that will grow a little bit. They're hunting for what they call disruptive innovation. We're talking about total game changers. The kind of tech that doesn't just make a better mousetrap, but completely rewrites the rules, creates a brand new market, and basically makes the old way of doing things obsolete.
So where are they looking? Right here. These are the 5 pillars of their entire strategy. You've got AI, obviously, then blockchain, which is totally shaking up the world of finance, energy storage, think batteries and the whole green revolution, robotics, how we build and transport literally everything, and finally, Multiomic Sequencing, which is a fancy way of saying the future of medicine. But here's the real kicker, the big aha moment for ARK. They believe these aren't 5 separate things. They're converging. They're crashing into each other, and that collision is what's going to create this massive explosion of innovation.
Okay, that's a lot of theory. It sounds cool, but what does it actually look like in practice? Well, to see this whole idea in action, we only need to look at ARK's biggest bet, their #1 holding, Tesla.
So, why Tesla? I mean, for most of us, Tesla equals electric cars, right? But for Cathie Wood, that's completely missing the point. Her take on Tesla it's just radically different, and it perfectly illustrates her entire investment philosophy.
This really sums it up. On the left, you've got the old school view: Tesla's a car company. Its value comes from how many cars it can build and sell. Simple. But on the right, that's ARK's view. They don't see a car company at all. They see an AI company. To them, the car is basically an iPhone on wheels, a device that's out there collecting massive amounts of real-world data. The real prize isn't selling the car once, it's the recurring revenue you can generate from an autonomous network. It's no wonder she's called it the largest AI project on Earth. And when you see the company that differently, you value it differently. Like wildly differently. ARK's 5-year price target for Tesla is $2,600 a share. Now that number sounds absolutely insane until you understand where they think all that value is going to come from.
And this chart explains the whole thesis in one picture. Look at this. In their model, only 10% of Tesla's future value comes from, selling electric cars. A staggering 90% comes from a future Robotaxi network. Think about it, a fleet of self-driving cars operating like Uber, but with no drivers. That's a software margin recurring revenue business. The cars aren't the product, they're just the hardware that runs the real product.
Okay, so that's the AI and robotics piece of the puzzle. But that's just one of the 5 platforms. Let's shift gears to another one of her huge calls, this time in the world of blockchain and digital assets.
So if you thought that Tesla number was crazy, get ready for this. ARK's price target for one single Bitcoin by 2030 is $1.5 million. Yeah, million. It's a number that just sounds completely unbelievable. So we have to ask, how on earth do they get there?
Okay, so they basically see 3 huge drivers pushing the price up. First, the big money is finally coming in. We're talking about huge institutional investment funds. And with things like the new Bitcoin ETFs, they now have a safe, regulated way to buy in. Second, it's becoming digital gold.
Younger generations especially are starting to see it as a place to store their wealth, just like older generations saw gold. And third, and this is a big one, it's a lifeline. For people in countries where the local currency is collapsing, Bitcoin is an insurance policy against their government's financial mismanagement.
And for those big institutions, here's the magic word: diversification. The price of Bitcoin doesn't really follow the stock market or the bond market. It does its own thing. And if you're managing a massive portfolio, having an asset that zigs when everything else zags is incredibly valuable. It's why they almost have to start adding it to the mix.
All right, so we've talked AI with Tesla, we've talked blockchain with Bitcoin, we've seen these massive, almost unbelievable predictions. So let's step back for a second. What's the big picture message here? What's the main takeaway from all of this?
Really, it boils down to this one simple but powerful idea she talks about all the time: get on the right side of change. Her core belief is that this isn't just a normal cycle of innovation. It's a historic, once-in-a-generation shift. And in a shift that big, you can either be the one getting disrupted, or you can be the one doing the disrupting. The choice, she argues, will make all the difference.
And of course, it's not just about Tesla and Bitcoin. You can see this whole strategy play out across her top holdings. You have Tesla hitting AI and robotics. You have Coinbase, which is a pure play on the whole blockchain economy. You've got CRISPR Therapeutics. That's the Multiomic Sequencing play we mentioned. Each one of these is a direct bet on one of those 5 innovation platforms. And just a quick reminder, of course, this is all for educational purposes, definitely not investment advice. You got to do your own homework.
And so, that really brings us to the final and maybe most important question that this whole philosophy raises. A question not just for investors, but for all of us. The world is changing, fast. These technologies are converging and accelerating. So, the question she leaves us with is a simple one. Are you on the right side of that change?